Hello, this is Mo, your amateur urban gardener from Houston, Texas. And this is my friend, Miss Tanya, how to make a green smoothie. I wanted to give you a little background on how it came to be anyway. Everything with me is an experiment. So I love growing kale. Kale is really healthy for you, has a lot of vitamins and minerals. So I add kale to soup, and I'll make a big pot of soup, and then I'll put it in these jars that have a pop top. The top pops down, and then it stays good for quite a while in the refrigerator, a couple of weeks. Sometimes I will take kale and I've already eaten most of it. I had a few containers of this, but it's kale. I got the recipe from Whole Foods, sesame emerald kale. What it is it's kale, slightly steamed, then sauteed with garlic. Oh, I didn't put ginger in this, but they put ginger in theirs. Garlic and sesame seeds and olive oil and a little bit of Bragg's. That's like a substitute soy sauce that's more healthy for you. It has amino acids in it. And then with parsley, which now I also put in the green drinks, we make our own homemade tabbouleh, which is parsley, a little cracked wheat, and tomatoes, and olive oil, lemon, teeny bit of salt and pepper. This is a Middle Eastern dish. My husband really loves that. And then I also use the kale in stir fry. So those are ways that I was using the kale already, and I was getting kind of tired of it. I was thinking, what else can I use the kale in? So I asked my husband to go online and look for recipes for kale. Well, what he found was a recipe for a kale smoothie, and it consisted of kale chopped up, soy milk, banana, and mixed all up in a blender, and that was the kale smoothie. Well, we tried it, and it didn't say anything about grinding the kale first or anything like that. It just said put it all in a blender, zip it up, and there's your smoothie. So we tried it, and we had little green flecks stuck to our teeth, and it was a little bit gritty, and so we decided to take that recipe and kind of work with it and see what we could come up with. Well, I'm not big on milk, or we used soy milk in smoothies anyway, so I decided to use apple juice instead. So what we've come to put in it now, we did kale, apple juice, bananas, and then it tasted like it needed a little something else, so I put a few frozen grapes in it too, and it's a taste that we like. So now we've expanded that. Okay, we'll use kale, and right here I have some stuff from the garden. This is kale, Italian kale, which looks kind of like this, Italian kale, and blue curly kale, which is has a little bit more curl to it. But both of these, I picked this from this morning from the garden. So I would pick, I have stuff all mixed up in the garden, so I pick kale from different places, pick the outside leaves, and then it just continues to grow. So I picked kale, so I'll do that, pick kale, and then I'll pick, I picked parsley, also from the garden, and beet greens, the tops of the beet greens. And someone also told me you can use carrot tops, so this is greens from the top of carrots. But all of these things now I use in the green smoothies. All of them are very rich in minerals and vitamins. And so what I do is, on my chopping board here, I'll chop up all these different greens. And I've gotten to the point, I used to chop them up every day and make the smoothie, but what I do now to be a little more efficient is I will chop all those greens up, mix them up in a bowl, and then I put them in. This is a dollar shoebox from the dollar store. I put them all mixed up in a container like this. I just put a paper towel on top like that with the lid, so that it won't get all wet and mucky. The towel absorbs the moisture, and this stays good for, I don't know, usually 3, 4, 5 days, even a week, maybe more. I haven't pressed it that because we drink a green smoothie almost every day. So then this mixture, now it could just be chopped up kale if you want, or just chopped up green, mixture of greens like I got here. But what I'll do is in a blender, I will, let me make sure it's unplugged. Okay, in a blender, I will fill it to the top. I don't pack it down, I just, lightly put it in there. I fill it to the top with these greens. Okay, so I still have enough here for another few drinks. So I'm going to put that back in the refrigerator. And if I'm not going to chop up greens, like I'm probably not going to chop up these greens now because I still have enough for one more day, what I will do is I will take a plastic bag, paper towel. I keep telling myself I'm going to switch over to cloth towel so I'm not wasting the paper. But what I'll do is, this has already been cleaned, this kale, and it's been sitting here drying. So it's pretty clean, dry kale. I take it, I put the paper towel around it, again for the same reason, so that it will absorb the moisture. And you can do this to any vegetable, store-bought vegetables, any vegetable. If you put just a paper towel in with the bag, make sure the bag is dry, make sure the vegetables are dry, your vegetables will last much, much longer in the refrigerator. And then I lightly close it, and I'll put this in the refrigerator, and you know, this will stay good for a long time, and it won't get, you know, it won't get all wet and disintegrate. It'll stay good like that till I'm ready to use it. Okay, so I got my greens to the top, chopped greens, and then I will put in some apple juice. Okay, and I put the apple juice to, I already made a second bottle because I knew I was going to need more. I filled the apple juice probably, that sort of looks like almost like 3/4 full. So the greens almost to the top, apple juice, and this is kind of watered down apple juice because I don't like it too sweet. So that's the first step. Put that in there, plug it in. And the first thing I do is pulverize the greens, okay? Because if the greens are made to liquid, then when you put bananas or anything else in, you don't get that gritty stuff. It tastes really smooth. It's a delicious flavor. It's gonna take a minute. So that's pretty pulverized. And I just noticed that maybe I put a little too much apple juice in there. So I'm going to take out just a ladleful to, it's actually a little bit foamy, so I'm going to take out some of the foam, which I drink. I'm sure it still has nutrition in it. Okay. And now that it's pulverized here, I'm going to add in a banana. Now, sometimes my husband buys lots of bananas and fruit and things like that, and if we don't eat it and it's starting to get very ripe, what I will do is I will cut up the fruit, peel it, cut it up, put it in a container, plastic container, and put these in the freezer. Sometimes I use this if I don't have fresh bananas to use. And then I'll put a little bit of grapes, frozen grapes. We freeze a lot of fruit in containers so that we're ready for smoothies or anything like that. And then the banana peels themselves, I chop anything I put into the compost, I cut it up first, and then I have a compost right here in the kitchen, which we'll bring out to the compost pit. But anyway, I always cut up my vegetable trash before I put it in the compost, and it helps to turn into soil quicker. So here's the last part. Okie doke. This is so delicious. And the reason I have to use a ladle is this blender has a terrible pour spout. Most blenders you wouldn't have to do that. You could just pour it right out of the blender, but this blender does not. It's a great blender, but it has a terrible pour spout. So this is the green drink. It's quite delicious. And how I store it is I save bottles, reuse bottles my husband has, drinks tea from, and I will put it in those bottles, cap them, and put them in the refrigerator. You don't need to watch me do that. But anyway, that's what I do. I'll do a cup. It makes about, a blenderful makes about 2 of these in a glass, or 3 glasses, something like that. So let's review. Fill the blender almost to the top with chopped greens, kale if you have kale, or whatever kind of green mix you want to make. Fill it maybe 2/3 full with apple juice. That'll work better probably. And then add in, pulverize it. After the greens are pulverized, then add in a little banana, a little grape, something like that if you want to sweeten it up a bit. Or if you like the taste of like wheatgrass type juice, just drink it, just the greens and the apple juice. Don't bother adding in any kind of fruit to sweeten it. And of course, this is all an experiment, so to your taste, however much greens, less greens, less juice, more fruit, it's totally up to you. Anyway, that's how I ended up making green smoothies, and we eat one almost every day. They're really delicious. They really give me a lot of energy, and it's a great way to get your daily vitamins and minerals. So that's all from your amateur urban gardener from Houston, Texas, USA. Hope that helps, Miss Tanya. Okay, happy gardening, happy food prep. Take care.